Good evening and welcome to Legal Tech Live, episode 67. I'm here with Chris Cangero. Am I saying that right, Chris?
You are,
All
yes.
right. Chris Cangero of DocStyle LLC. Chris I'm going to give you a little background on Chris right now. He's got a passion for practicality while innovating creative ways to design productivity solutions for everyday business, focused on the development and application of new technologies for legal and corporate legal marketplaces. He's had the privilege of being a business owner since 2007. Along the way, a series of unique experiences which have enriched his life tremendously. Some of those I'm hoping will be legal experiences, Chris, that led to this new journey. But throughout his journey, he's developed a specialty for creative problem solving while applying a holistic approach. And he is the CEO and one of the founders, right? There's two founders?
Yes. Two founders.
Two
Yes.
founders. One of the founders of DocStyle LLC, or DocStyle. You can find them at docstyle.net. They are DocStyle LLC. Document styling and automation, accurately converting PDF files and style Word documents. So we're going to get into a little bit more depth on what all that means. And he's going to describe to us and maybe even show us a little bit about what DocStyle can do. I don't know if you're set up for that, Chris, but we can take some time for that as well. Chris, tell me about yourself. Tell me what I read. It was out of your own words on your LinkedIn profile, so I should have some accuracy there. But tell us about the stuff that I've missed. Tell us the background, your work experience, and how you've now drifted into the unforgiving world of legal tech.
Well, I was in a way kind of born into legal tech, and it was a passion of mine once I started really tinkering with technology and setting the living room rug on fire. So that was those are fun days. So my father had started a value-added reseller business. He took computers and made IBM clones, and they were white boxes, and he would sell them, and a large number of his customers were legal. And that's because his background was as a district sales manager for Wang Laboratories. And part of his repertoire over at Wang was to run the legal vertical for all of New York. And so he was selling into legal back in the early to mid 80s. He then started his own practice in 87 and sold into legal continuously. And he branched out into other verticals, but that's how I got my start. I went to work for the family business in the late 1990s, and I have had a passion for it ever since. I spent 9 years with my father at a company called Epic Data, and from there, I'd say that was my true education. You know, school was nothing compared to the experience that I gained and the knowledge. And family is special because, well, it's special, you know, but it's special because it opens you up, you know, to the exposure to all the different aspects of a business and ways. And when you go get a job, you don't necessarily have that luxury of seeing all of those inner workings.
That's right.
And although it was difficult, we took our work home, and sometimes, you know, we had hard conversations at Thanksgiving. Those were worthwhile because the foundation it gave me was tremendous. So in 2000, I'm sorry.
It certainly helps. Coming from family business, it certainly gives you a leg up on learning business that you don't necessarily get in school. And usually it gives you a leg up as far as you start learning business earlier than a lot of other people who might go into business. Right. You're familiar with how to deal with customers from a very early stage.
This was a small company. I was thrown into the fire.
You're thrown into the fire.
Yes.
And I want to hi, Ashley. Ashley Pepitone's here joining us, watching. She's a lawyer out of Georgia. So yeah. You started with working with Dad, and then you started your own company?
So then I started my own company. I wanted to dive a little deeper into legal and specialize only in law firms and corporate legal departments. And my father had started to play around with the banking industry and developing software for anti-money laundering. So after I helped him get that sort of established, I took my my leave with his blessing and moved on. And so I started from scratch, brand new, no clients, started a consultancy. And we went out there and tried to really come up with some, this is where the creative part of my LinkedIn profile comes in. We tried to come up with really creative solutions to try to use the budgets that we had to work with to put together some of the tools that that attorneys weren't using or didn't have available to them. And it was a pretty exciting few years. It really kind of gave me a good foundation, exposed me to the financial side that I never really had to take on because, you know, I was doing a lot with my father's business. I was managing the day-to-day, I was selling, I was promoting, I was doing service work, and I was running the back office operation, but I wasn't funding the business. I didn't have that stress that he had, where I was constantly out there trying to make sure that we could meet payroll and have the revenue coming in that we needed on a regular basis. So going out on my own in that respect with my first business, Longacre Square, was exciting. And then I had the bright idea to start a software company where I wanted to build a comparison product for document comparison, but I wanted to build it without an application. And so that's where you know, we started to come up with these different ways to bring that to market. So first and that's when it was kind of like a swing. I didn't have, I didn't have revenue for both businesses, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the revenue that I developed in Longacre Square and swing it into Evolution Software. And that to me was a logical funding source where I was basically funding myself. And it was something that I was very cautious about in how I did it. I didn't want to leave my customers feeling abandoned. So I carried both companies for 3 years and slowly found new homes for my existing clients at Longacre until I was out of the consulting business and fully into the software world.
All right.
And now I have Longacre, I have Evolution Software and Novo Compare, and got the bright idea to
add another product.
Add another product. So we
with a different name and a different company and a different. And I mean, you're really making the governance, the corporate governance aspect of your businesses. You're complicating it.
Oh yes. No, that's the fun part, I guess. You know, it's the most elaborate books.
Right.
But you know, so built the second product in 2012. That was a metadata scrubber. Really expanded it on the desktop. Tied into Outlook, built an independent desktop client, put together an admin panel so that we can kind of really customize the rollout. So I believe we have the most customizable solution in metadata scrubbing. You can have a zero-click experience for the user, or you can have a well-engaged experience for the user on selecting and deciding what metadata you find valuable and necessary to retain in attachments and in electronic files. And then as they go out, you can interact with the software, where most other products are kind of set it and forget it. So different twists on how to do things that are more user-friendly, more focused on the experience of the individual who's actually with the software every day. And then we started to put together DocStyle. Now, DocStyle was a concept that turned into a very elaborate endeavor. Yeah. And I'm extraordinarily excited. It's by far the greatest project I've ever been a part of. And it's a project that's been going on for years now, only now just coming out and bringing it to the marketplace to share with people. But
so tell us what it does.
DocStyle is really a few different pieces doing one primary thing. We are styling documents. We take a document and we analyze and interpret that document whether it's a PDF file or a Word document. Now, the original idea was to take a Word document and in a single click, style the Word document. That means taking the formatting that we see on the page and all the pages throughout the entire document, and now building that formatting into the style, creating a custom style and putting that style applied to the paragraphs. So that's a time-consuming process and something that is done by the support staff. It's something that's done by word processors. And what we decided, what we found, that was you're either using a template package or you're using a macro package or you're using a cleanup tool that's basically a macro package that's kind of populating all of these functions together. How great would it be if we could look at the document, analyze the file, and interpret what it is on the fly based on what we see? So we started writing an engine. And the engine is called the IFR engine, the Intelligent Formatting Recognition Engine. And it's the heart of DocStyle. And it really is behind all of the intelligence. So we take a look at those paragraphs. We take a look at the document line by line, character by character, and we see everything. Where does content belong? What is this content? How can I group it together and combine similar content? And then how do I then build styles and apply those automatically to the document, to the file? So once we got it working for Word, once the engine was complete and we got it working for Word, we said, well, if we could do it for a Word document, why can't we do it for a PDF file? And that's where we started to get a little more
It's a little more advanced. It's a
Right.
little more advanced. So working with a PDF and editing a PDF can take some effort.
Right. So there's not much to a PDF. Right. So there's very little information inside of a PDF. You know, you have your printed PDFs, which are great. They give you the text and they have the formatting information in them. But they don't really give you any much more information about what that paragraph is. So when you convert that PDF file to a Word document, and you know, any of the PDF companies that are out there, they all do a great job at producing a document that looks really good. Mm-hmm. But when you start to try to edit that document and work with it, you have text boxes holding text in position because they needed it all to look perfect on that page. Right. And that's not how legal works. That they want flowing documents. They want agreements that span pages. They want paragraphs that are all grouped together. They want to be able to identify and then style that document so that they can build a table of contents, so that they can do other things in the file, in the document. So, you know, for us, it was repurposing documents, taking an existing file and something that you want to use. Maybe you had a different matter in the past that was similar, a client that you'd worked for, where it's basically the same case, but you just need to repurpose that file. Most attorneys these days, they're not creating documents from scratch. And sometimes they do. And there are tools out there for document assembly that do that pretty well. But largely what they're doing is they're taking an existing document and they're trying to reuse it because it has all the language written already.
We all want the templates, right?
Right. So that's where it all stemmed from. You know, that 3 hours it takes to clean up a document. And so what happens in a law firm is, let's say that you have 1,000 attorneys. And I'm just taking random numbers.
Sure.
And that law firm has a word processing department. And that word processing department is maybe 30 or 40 people. And then there's the support staff for the attorneys. So what they do is all the attorneys get those documents in, whether they're collaborating from the outside or they're working with others, and they take those documents and then they try to work with them. They convert them, they try to work with them. Sometimes they really insert internet content that corrupts the document. Sometimes they have styles that have been applied by other firms. Mm-hmm. They don't really understand styles very well, so they don't know how to work with that document. So what happens is you have 1,000 attorneys basically giving 1,000 documents a day, or somewhere along those lines, to a group of about 20 or 30 or 40 people. And those people then have to go through the process of stripping out all the formatting that is, you know, basically bad formatting. They have to redesign that document, restructure it from scratch. They got to build the styles and apply the styles to the paragraphs and all of them. So if it's an 80-page contract, it's 80 pages of paragraphs, and every paragraph has to have a style assigned. And then they have to go in the business of building a table of contents, or it's starting to finalize that document so they can send it back to the attorney so they can make more collaborative changes back and forth. So that takes a lot of time. It could take an hour, it could take 2 hours, could take 4 hours. But the point is that you have 1,000 documents every day going to 20 people who can never keep up. The best they can do is maybe 3 or 4 documents a day per person.
Okay. All right.
And that's the challenge we're trying to solve. That is the real problem.
So this is not necessarily for the individual lawyer. This is for the word processing department of a larger firm. Not really. Okay.
So what we've done is we've taken a different twist. Everything that I do, all the projects that I work on, the things that Adrian and I have concepted together, they all come to a place where we want to make this as user-friendly as possible. So what we've done is we've broken DocStyle into 2 pieces. Okay. You have a desktop client for the PDF to Word conversion, which is pretty much entirely automated. And then you have a Word ribbon, which inserts right into Word, and there on the ribbon are tools. Now, you'll find some of these tools in other products on the market, but what we're doing is we're utilizing the engine that we built, and we're automating the process a lot faster. So we have the ability to clean up a document. We have the ability to style a document automatically. We can style a section. If you highlight a group of paragraphs and you just want to style those paragraphs, we can style a paragraph without touching the rest of the document. We can address just numbering. We can identify an outline numbering scheme in a Word document, build that scheme into the style, and then apply that style to the document, simultaneously building a table of contents from that new style that's been applied from the outline numbering scheme.
So if I have an appellate brief, it's 50 pages and all sorts of, and you can format it for me, style it and format it for me.
Exactly. And that will save you, that will save you and your staff hours waiting for that document to get back to you.
Okay.
And it is largely automated. We've started to build some other tools. We've been moving 1,000 miles an hour this month, and it's been really exciting to see what we're coming up with. The concepts that we're putting together and the things that we're adding. So it's a juggling act. It's sometimes we're building and improving the algorithms that are identifying content that are coming from PDF to Word, or from within Word documents themselves, and other times we're building out new features for the product. And that's the exciting part, is that it's constantly figuring out, okay, well, let's get some feedback from this firm and see what they think that is, are we on the right track? Are we not on the right track? Let's talk to some people in the industry that we know, that the relationships that we've built over the years, and see, based on their expertise, where they find the real value would be coming from it. And so, the support has been tremendous, and the experience has been wonderful. And now we're coming to a really full-featured product that can do a lot of things, but it's all focused and centered around document styling and utilizing styles to your advantage. And it's mostly built around the user.
Excellent. Okay. So who are the target markets here? It seems that we're on legal tech, so we know that that lawyers and now word processing departments are the target. Solo, smalls, mid-size, corporate legal departments, all of the above?
It's all of the above, but it's different for everyone.
Okay.
So small to mid-size legal, they struggle with this. They do not have very many tools. The tools that they can get are not user-focused. They're processing-focused.
Okay.
And so, it becomes a real challenge. The budgets are generally not there. The understanding, and this is the biggest part, for small to mid-sized legal, it's the understanding of how important styles are in Word and why they're so valuable to learn how to use well. The lack of understanding for just the pain and the problem that they're experiencing is the real challenge. First, to educate the mid-sized, the small law firm about, about about why styles are important, and then to show them how we can now change their day-to-day for the better.
Right.
That's the small to mid-size. They don't have the tools. They don't have really a lot of training. Sometimes you get an attorney who comes from a big law firm to go to a small law firm. It might be a beneficial move for them and lucrative for them, but they're used to having all of these tools, assets, and resources.
Right.
And the staff, they don't have to worry about this word processing document. They just send it off, and then it comes back to them. So by magic, by way of Christmas magic, as we call it. So with that, now they're at this smaller firm. It's it's giving them the tools and the assets, but in a way that's not too overwhelming. That's the key. And then there's the large enterprise firm. And they do not have a very effective, good way to convert a PDF file to Word and style that. We're converting, we're cleaning, we're styling, and we're leaving that for the attorney or the word processing support group. We're enabling them to do more and to speed up the process of returning these documents back to the attorneys who need them. And our theory is that if they're upside down right now, right? So taking 1,000 attorneys, 20 people, if that's an upside down process, well then how much more efficient can they be if they're able to process and to turn around 40 documents a day instead of 4 per person? And that's the idea behind DocStyle for the enterprise. So when you have the support staff, there are tools and resources in DocStyle for those advanced users. There are conveniences built in that are focused on automation, true automation coming from interpretation, not just from a series of combined steps. And then, like I said, for the small to mid-size, who doesn't really have anything, they're doing a lot of direct formatting in documents. They're working with these files in a very painstaking, lengthy way. They can't turn around and bill for these hours. They can try, but it never goes over well.
Right.
And we feel that you shouldn't. If right now you're doing 90% of the heavy lifting, do 10%. Let the software do the work for you. Right. I'm not saying that DocStyle is going to be perfect every time. It's an interpretive engine. So what will happen is let's say you have a paragraph with 4 sentences in it, and the first sentence ends with a period, and the second sentence starts with a capital. Well, DocStyle is going to think that that's the end of a paragraph and the beginning of a new one, and it's going to put a hard return in. And that kind of cleanup is quick and easy. Right. Instead of having to strip the entire document and start from scratch, which is usually faster than trying to clean it up as it sits, coming out of Acrobat or coming out of a conversion product that does that.
Right. So with that, how's your go-to-market?
Go-to-market, we have participated.
Are you targeting? I should clarify this. And Ashley had said that I guess you guys had met at Startup Alley last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Startup Alley was great. I loved the experience of going to Chicago, putting together the startup competition, the pitch competition that we did opening night. That was a real experience.
I bet.
Well, I think when I was working with my father and when I was starting Longacre Square, this is back 2007, 2006, 2005. I would say from 2001 all the way through to about 2007, I was doing a lot of disaster recovery and business continuity consultancy.
Okay.
I was born and raised in New York. I only moved to Miami when I was 40, so that was only a few years ago.
Right.
So my entire career was basically in New York, and being in New York City during 9/11, experiencing that firsthand. We wanted to try to do something to give back and to help. We felt that helping organizations, law firms, try to recover and put together a better plan, because 9/11, post 9/11, when it comes to technology and businesses, New York City was shut down, the whole world was shut down, and it started to come back to life a very little bit, maybe a month later. But downtown New York was inaccessible.
Mm-hmm.
You just couldn't get there. And so we had law firms that were downtown New York, and we were helping them. I remember this one law firm, they did not have a disaster plan. They didn't have a disaster site. And their primary server network was built inside of their office, which was right near the water.
Right.
And so so we ended up helping them bring that network to a hotel. And we plugged those servers in anywhere we could find, and we got them back up and running. And we gave them some kind of a makeshift remote access to the network. And that, to me, was the beginning of a more noble effort to try to give back. And so I did a lot of that consulting work, and that put me on certain panels. I did speaking events at the Javits Center during TechXNY, and different events that I would go around to. And so I had gotten comfortable and used to doing this, public speaking. And then there were years.
But a pitch is a little bit different. A pitch is a little bit different.
And I had the bright idea at Startup Alley to do a video. So I found these two really exceptional women on LinkedIn who did whiteboard videos. And so it was, like a hand drawing, and they would kind of run through this motion camera, and they tell a story. And so I had them put together about a 90-second video. And I said to them, they said to me, so how much time do we have to do this video? I said, well, I just found you guys, and man, my event is 5 weeks away. 5 weeks? Oh my God. We usually do 8-week production time. What exactly do you want to do? And we talked about the concept. We talked about what I wanted to do. It was basically the PDF to Word process. We wanted to showcase that in DocStyle and coming out of the gate. And so so they said to me, okay, so, you're going to play this video and it's just going to play up on the big screen. I said, no, it's a live pitch competition. I have to actually speak. And so the fun part was when they said, wait, you want to do this live? I said, yeah. I said,
so with the video playing and you describing the...
Right. So they gave me a with narration and without narration. So if you go to the website, you can see the with narration, which is not me. It's somebody else's voice. But the without narration is the one they gave me. And I remember when they gave me the file, it was literally 4 p.m. the day before the pitch competition. So I had 26 hours to memorize the timing. And I remember the owner of the company, she says to me, Chris, I just want to let you know, no one's ever tried to do this before. This is really crazy. We do maybe 40 takes. You're going to have to pull this off in one take. And that was a stressful night.
Yeah. That's a little bit different than just your standard public speaking. That's a good story.
And that was the first time since 2008 or 2009 I had really just gone back out there. So it was one of those go big or go home kind of moments. And
that's awesome.
I had to bring the paper with me, but I did pull it off without messing it up.
That's
Timing
great.
Came out. It was good.
We've got Diego Alcala and Fernie Gomez visiting us. Fernie's from Colombia. Diego's, I don't know if you know Diego or have met Diego yet. He's our criminal defense attorney down in Puerto Rico. So we're having a bit of we have some international and some just not too far from you, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's good to meet you. Or it's good to be seen.
Good to be seen. And please, Fernie and Diego, if you have questions, our guest tonight is Chris Cangero of DocStyle.net. Please feel free to ask questions. So your go-to-market, who are you targeting first? Because this you've talked about it being small to mid-size,
Right.
and then enterprise level, and who are you after right now?
So
Because
we went to market starting out. ABA Tech Show was our launch in
okay,
Chicago, and that is a small to mid-size marketplace.
right,
And we felt that that was a good launch pad because there's far greater a need at the small to mid-size level for something like this, far greater. Um, and so, but we didn't want to not consider enterprise. And so we went to do the startup hub at ILTA in Orlando, and two very different experiences, both wonderful, and both exposed us to the different market segments that we wanted to go after. And we want to focus on small to medium law firms. We
okay,
want to bring them on first because they are the ones that really have the pain point, the ones that have no tools, the ones that don't really understand why they're valuable and important. And we want to bring this automation, this process, this a better quality document to them as a result. And at the same time, we want to also develop relationships and cultivate the enterprise arena, because the enterprise arena has been doing this process and they've come up with their own systems, all of them. And they're very detailed, they're very specific, they understand the pain, they know the problems they face, they have a workflow for it. And that workflow is based on real, actual, experience, hands-on. We need both. So we need to bring that experience to DocStyle. So we are working with a select group of enterprise firms that are assisting us with just giving us feedback. We're refining the product, we're improving the engine, we're talking about the results, and we're getting some great interaction from them. And at the same time, our go-to-market strategy is really more focused towards the small to mid-size legal firm.
okay,
Corporate legal certainly would be another area. You have a few thousand people in a corporation and a 30 or 40 person legal department. So those are the areas that we're going after, and we're focusing specifically on document-heavy legal practice areas. So we want people who are going, and DocStyle is not built for every type of document. I want to make sure that the users that are out there, or the audience that's out here today, that they really understand that DocStyle is about flowing documents. We want to take a text-heavy flowing document. We want to take something that is used like an agreement, a will. We want to take those kinds of documents, and we want to put them through the engine. We want to process them because we want to turn around a fully styled document. There are certain things that trip you up when this conversion process, which is why you end up with all those text boxes all over the place from other conversions. And images are some, heavy forms, really intense documents with not a lot of text in them, a lot of positioning of content. That's where DocStyle is not well suited. So we know what we're looking for in terms of our clientele. We are 100% focused on documents that are text heavy and flowing documents. So the only other marketplace that we have been in a way exposed to a little bit would be the publishing industry, because they're working with documents that are in that nature, and they have a very difficult time with numbering. These are 800-page manuscripts.
Right. I could see that.
And they don't have the tools, they don't have the volume that legal gets, they don't have the experience. So right now, that's really our only deviation from legal, but we are a legal-focused solution and a legal-focused company. So the intelligence that we gain and the effort that we're making towards those segments of law, that's
That's
That's our
fantastic. And so you had your launch last year. You're getting clients. In anything you can share with us on numbers of clients or anything that's non-proprietary that you'd share for the other startup listeners who are out there?
Year one is always slow, and it's a combination. It's a juggling act. All right. So we have been getting steady new clients as we go to market. We have not run away with the store yet. I still do need to go to work every day,
Right.
And I enjoy it. So I imagine myself as one of those 95-year-old guys with a bow tie on the train. That's,
right.
I enjoy what I do, and I like the creative aspect of it. So I think there's no reason why I would ever stop. But the but it's been a very steady bringing in of new clientele, and we are finding it's mostly small to mid-sized legal, which is really where we want to be, and we are reinforcing that as we build the product, as we enhance the features, as we improve the engine. One of the things that we were working on that we just finished about 4 weeks ago was the ability to better identify forms. And that actually, it was the lines in the PDF files that were tripping us up. Are they a table? Is it a border? Is it an underline? What kind of content is this? I mean, this is the granularity that we're dealing with when we're looking at a PDF file and trying to interpret it based on how we then process it into the Word document. We are creating a brand new Word document from scratch. These are brand new styles. We are not using a template. We are creating this on our own. And so understanding all of those things, it's a progress, it's a progression, And so we can do a pretty good job of taking a document and converting it. That's an agreement, and that doesn't have a lot of images or things to trip us up. And there's a lot of really great value in the solution overall. And so, we've had that steady growth, but legal is legal. And I know a lot of people say that. It is the truth. Legal, it's a slow sales process. It is a building of trust. It is an engagement that doesn't end when you knock on their door and hand them a flyer. It's an understanding that you have the expertise and you're going to be there for the long term. And and I would say that 10, 20 years ago, you had a real challenge of whether or not, companies could deliver in an efficient, and they were focused on you. There were some acquisitions, this company set up and they built a great product, and then they were bought by another company, and then those owners got folded out and they started taking the product in a different direction, and then they got bought out by another company. And how many acquisitions happened over those years? We're not in a very dissimilar space now with all the investment banking that's going on in legal tech, or fintech as we're calling it. So it's the same situation, just different tools. And so now we're looking at turnover. And so sustainability, trust, building that business out, holding your customers' hands, sharing with them the knowledge and experiences that you've cultivated. It's all part of the process. And in the beginning, year one, year two, it's one client at a time, one relationship at a time. It is building that trust. And then you get to a point where it's like a wave, the wave goes up, the wave goes up, and you start to crest. And how you do in that moment is who you are. I think that's good. Every business owner is different, but
I like that. So tell us about pricing. Is it per user, per, multiple users? How are you doing that?
We are pricing it per users. However, there are two different pricing structures. So what we found is that this is a real challenge with putting together pricing. The challenge is that you have law firms and customers who will buy one copy and process 1 million documents through it, and then ask that software company to then support 1 million documents. That's not sustainable from a software manufacturer's perspective. On the other hand, you also have companies where software manufacturers who go to law firms and say everybody has to buy my product, enterprise only, across the board. You get a site license, you can load it on anyone's desk you want, but everybody has to buy it. And then somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, Chris, but I only really need 20 people to use this software. Nobody else is going to use it. You're going to make me pay for 100 when 20," and you get into that.
Right.
So I spent 6 months trying to figure out a happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
And what I came up with was enterprise and bundles. So enterprise is the traditional model. You buy the enterprise license. It counts up the number of users you have or individuals in the firm.
Yeah.
We just subtract the people who would never ever use it, like accounting and certain departments, and that becomes your count. And it's an unlimited use. You know your price. It's fixed. It's an annual reoccurring commitment, and you have discounts built in. There's volume that's put together, and that will start at $20 per user per month.
Okay.
And so that's enterprise, which is a little traditional, and and then we wanted the bundles. So I came up with the idea of the bundles, which is you get a per user allotment of documents per month.
Okay.
So you go to the website, and for $10, you get $10 documents a month.
Okay.
So you can then process and style 10 documents a month. But what defines a document, right? So then we got into this. So we define a document as a document session.
Okay.
You get 24 hours to use the product on the file, which is more than enough time to work on the document, process it, and turn it over to someone else. And now you have used one document by just enacting and enabling any feature in DocStyle. Whether you're using the ribbon or you're using the desktop client, you're converting a PDF to Word, or you're building a table of contents, you can do that. And so that's where we decided that we were going to give the best of both worlds. If you want a pay-as-you-go, inexpensive way to use DocStyle, but you have a limit, then the bundles are the way to go. Right. So there's 3 bundles: $10, $20, and $30. 10 documents a month, 25 documents a month, and 50 documents a month. And then if you have more than 50 documents a month per user, you're really starting to justify the volume. And you're also, how many users you get, you may just be better off with the enterprise model.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what we have is we have a lot of law firms will start out by buying a $10 bundle and then say, product works great, I really like it, this has helped me a lot. Can you give me some pricing on the enterprise, because we don't want to have to worry about document count anymore, and we want to know what our cost is, and we just want to pay once a year.
Which is fair. I mean, I know I try out softwares that way too, right? Well, let's start at the low end, see if it's working out for me, and then if it's working, if it is what I anticipate, if I'm going to get the use out of it, then let's upgrade that.
Yeah.
So that's not an uncommon common way to test new software, and I think a legitimate way to test it as well.
And if there's an engagement where we know in advance that it's an enterprise opportunity, and someone's considering a few hundred copies of DocStyle on the enterprise license, we will certainly work with that firm and provide a controlled release kind of trial evaluation of the product. But it became a value benefit kind of a decision, where it was like, okay, well, if somebody wants to try one copy of DocStyle, and is that really the effort that goes into setting up a trial, getting it installed, supporting them, all that stuff. There was came a point where it was like, well, if you're considering an enterprise up front, then you'd want to really take a look at it. Even if you're 20 people, we'll be happy to do that for you and work with you on that in the traditional sense. But if you're just, getting an idea, want to take a look, it's $10 for 1 month, and there's no commitment.
No commitment. Excellent. Thank you. AJ Richmond, also joining us out of Georgia. Georgia Crime is here. AJ, and let's see, Fernie asks a question here. Does it have APIs if you want to integrate with others, with another system or other systems?
So what we've started doing, and this is now 3 months old, We've started to build out our web service, our API.
Okay.
And what we want to do is we want to allow other developers and we want to allow other software manufacturers to be able to use the intelligent formatting recognition engine to be able to group together and organize paragraphs and identify them and to provide them with that handoff for whatever they want to do. We've been working with a company in Europe that wants to use the IFR engine to match styles in their system, and for styles that are that would be assigned in Word documents that have never been styled. And so they're going to be utilizing the engine, hopefully pretty soon. We're going to complete this project. And they're going to be hooking directly in to DocStyle to be able to utilize that engine. And we will analyze the file. We will provide them with an overlay. And that overlay will be used for styling their documents. And so those are the kinds of things that we want to do. And those are the kinds of use cases. That's like one example of a use case for the API. And, you know, we're pretty close, you know, but every company has a different need and perspective. So it's really more of a one-off engagement. You know, it's giving you just open access, you know, when there's so many different things that we can provide you. Is the formatting important to you? Is styling paragraphs important to you? Is, you know, understanding, you know, what those paragraphs represent? Is identifying those paragraphs so that you can improve, you know, your own process in PDF? Is this a Word focus? You know, where are you? So those kind of relationships will welcome, you know, individually, but we are absolutely putting together access for other organizations to take advantage of the technology that we built.
Great, great. And what about funding? Sounds like you've done self-funding up to this point. Would you be looking for investment to grow this faster, or are you continuing to do kind of the sustainable growth? Is that the plan?
Well, like I said earlier, what I did was I took Longacre Square and I swung it into Evolution, and then I took Evolution, which is still there, and we're still supporting it. We're still happy with it, but we took some of the assets from Evolution and we swung it into DocStyle.
Right.
And so, the idea came to me with, you know, swing migrations from the past. You know how you used to go from Exchange 2003 to 2007 to 2010 to, and you know you had to kind of, because law firms are, you know, notorious for skipping 3 versions of a build. So,
sure,
you know, so that it was like, well, if you could do it with software and servers, why can't you do it with money from company? You know, you just take the money, the asset you've developed, and use the resources and build a new business model. Yes, absolutely. We would be open to looking at funding. I wanted to get some traction first. I wanted to build out the solution. I wanted to put together our vision and share it with the marketplace. I wanted to get some early success stories, and I wanted to build asset value, not just monetary, but also in what we're developing and what we have to offer. The IFR engine is completely unique. No one else analyzes and interprets content inside of electronic files. We have something extraordinarily valuable. It is all algorithms. We wrote them. There's no other real third-party piece there. And so that, to us, is building an asset. As we improve the quality, as we get that to a place where we're really happy with what it's doing and how it's performing, and the success, you know, starts to come, you know, from bringing this to individual organizations, and we, you know, have that momentum build. When we hit that point, and I know where that is, it's kind of a feel that you get, you know, when you're in the flow of business is fluid, you know, it's always moving, and you kind of get this feel as you get closer, and you know, okay, well, now we really need to go to that next level. We need help to do that, and so that's what I want. I feel that there are companies that do funding well, and there are companies that do funding really badly. And when you go out and you get money too early, you haven't established the value in the operation, in the business, in the organization, and in the asset, the brand itself, DocStyle.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can do that, you have a much better relationship with the investor. You get to choose the right investor, the one that brings value to your business, the one that has relative experience, the one that cares about bringing that technology further forward, the one that supports your vision.
Right.
I want to incorporate their ideas. That's the value of an investor. It's not just the money. It's also what they have to offer in terms of experience and intelligence. So that is absolutely crucial. We are almost at that point, and I welcome that when we get to that phase where we're really need to move forward, and we need to build out this infrastructure a lot more to support the growth that we want to bring up forward.
Right. Excellent. Well, that is good. And it looks like AJ Richmond says, it seems like this product is made for people like me that hate the conversion on Adobe from PDF to Word.
I think so. You said before you wanted to take a look at it. If you want to take maybe 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah. AJ, would you like to see it? Hurry up, because we're almost out of time. Yeah, go ahead. Give us a run through.
Sure.
Let's see. Do you have screen sharing? Yeah, you do. Good.
Yes, I do. So my waterfall, it rotates. So DocStyle on the desktop and DocStyle on the ribbon inside of Word. So we'll start with the desktop. So simple interface, you browse out, you select your file. It could be any PDF file that you choose. And so what I'll do is I will convert this file. So you select your output location, you decide how many pages you want to be converted from PDF to Word. And now you have some choices to make, some decisions to make. Do you want to OCR this document? We are not an OCR company, but we have incorporated a cloud solution for OCR so that if you don't have text in the PDF file, that you can build text into the PDF file. This particular file is a demo document and it has text in it. Do you want to use Word's built-in styles, or do you want to customize your own styles? So you can now create custom style names for your own naming conventions, your own firm, setup. Numbering. Do you want us to build automatic numbering and add it to the style definition, or do you want to leave it as text? Do you want us to generate a table of contents? Because we're finding the numbering, we can generate a table of contents. Do you want us to identify and bring over the header and footer content? Do you want us to identify footnotes and bring that over? And last, do you want to open the style document when you're finished? So when you're done, you just click finish. The process begins, and it's pretty quick. There's a few seconds where it prepares the document, and then it will convert from the PDF to Word. And what I will do here is close this. And now I have a Word document from my PDF. Now, before I get too crazy here, I will show you the PDF file.
Okay. AJ says he's tuned in at the right time. And I would say, AJ, that tuning in anytime is the right time.
So here is the PDF file. And so what's nice about this document is that it has a lot of nice examples. It has a title page. It has flowing text. It has cascading text here, a red herring on the left. It has numbering that you wouldn't normally pick up coming from the PDF file. There are footnotes. We have change of header.
Right.
We do have a change of page orientation. We have tables, both bordered and unbordered. More footnotes. We have embedded Excel, but the PDF doesn't know from embedded Excel, so that doesn't really make a difference to the PDF coming to DocStyle coming from PDF to Word. We have a table of contents and index of terms and a table of authorities. We don't do anything with index of terms and table of authorities yet. It's on the roadmap, but we're not there yet. Okay. So close this PDF, bring back up the converted Word. So you'll see we have our header and footer content. We have our title page. We have a section break at the end of our title page because it's necessary. We are then flowing paragraphs. All right, so if I open up draft layout, you will see now that we have styled this document. Title styles for the title for centered paragraphs, body text styles for body text. We're building the formatting into the style and we're applying the style to the document. Cascading text we picked up. Numbering, we actually pick up the outline numbering scheme and we pick up the multi-level. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 applied to numbering. We are then, we're still flowing in this flowing document. We come, crossing pages, text again, flowing across pages. We have a section break here. And the reason why we have a section break here is because we're changing page orientation and we're changing the header footer. So we're recognizing that and building a section break into the document where appropriate. We're picking up the table and bringing it over. This is an actual Word table brought over from the PDF file, a notoriously painful process.
Yes.
This is an unbordered table coming from the PDF. These are footnotes. They're actual footnotes in the document. So we were able to pick all of this stuff up. And some of the nice things that you'll notice is that field codes for page numbers, not text, table of contents. Now, this is the great thing about PDF. Coming from PDF, we can recognize a table of contents if we recognize the outline numbering scheme. Because we're building heading styles, we can then run the process through and generate a table of contents.
Okay. And we got a question here from AJ. First comment is that he thinks this is a great program.
Well, thank you, AJ. I appreciate that.
So if you wanted to add something like a new bullet point, is that easy to do, or like add a row to one of the tables?
Oh, it's a Word document. It performs exactly the way a Word document would. Anything that you actually have in this document, I don't think we have list bullets in this document, but it will identify and style and build the document structurally the way it's supposed to, the way a word processing individual would. And there is nothing proprietary from DocStyle in this document. You can share this with anyone who does not have DocStyle. You can use this document going forward. There is nothing that will prevent you from working with this document. It's just set up properly for editing and continued use. And it's a clean document. It starts from scratch. So, there are other aspects to this. So that's coming from PDF to Word using the desktop client. And then we have the Word ribbon. So we can clean a document. We can, we can clean a document. We can save this. So we can clean the document. We remove the blank paragraph marks. We'll remove all the header and footer content. We'll remove leading tabs. We can apply a template if we want to then put this new document into a template. And it doesn't matter if you have a template package that you use to generate your templates. If the templates are inside the document, you'll be able to apply a template. By default, we just apply the normal template because that's what's there in this document.
Excellent.
So, other features that we go through, the automation section, styling just individual parts of the document, styling numbers, styling the entire document, just like we did coming from PDF, generating a table of contents. It'll recognize that we already have one in the document and ask you if you really can create one anyway. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to use styles. You can just use the formatting in a document. We'll analyze all the paragraphs just like we do when we're converting, and we group them together. So now you can see all those paragraphs that should be heading 1, and maybe this is just a document that's all in normal. They're all organized and grouped together. So now you can set this as level 1. You can set these types of paragraphs as level 2. And now you just come and you just set these to 0. And you can build a table of contents, put it into any location you want in the document, and you can do it from the formatting. It will build the heading styles for the levels it uses in the table of contents. and that's automatic. Every other TOC product on the market, it requires you to style the document first. We're able to do that on the fly as we build the TOC.
Excellent. And AJ says he's sold, and he's asking, is it a monthly subscription or a flat fee? It is a subscription-based service. AJ, DocStyle.net, AJ, since you were late because he was writing a brief, he says.
Sure,
and I'm going to go ahead, AJ, and you can pay me my my sponsorship royalties later. It's georgiacrime.com, Chris, so you can reach out to AJ at georgiacrime.com.
Wonderful.
And hopefully you guys can make a sale, and I should take some sort of a brokering fee. So AJ, get like a 10-year package if you would.
Definitely a 10-year package. I'll be more than happy to send that commission over.
That commission my way. That'd be great, guys. I'm really glad you were here for this, AJ. So Chris, if you'll end the share and tell me, is there anything else that folks need to know that we didn't cover tonight? I feel like we covered a lot.
We covered a lot. DocStyle is a tremendous product. It is innovative in the truest sense of the word. And it is truly new. The first, I would say, major breakthrough in document styling, document conversion, document preparation, document automation, from the sense of building a structured document in decades.
Excellent. And how do people get in touch with you, Chris?
You can go to our website at www.docstyle.net. And there's forums there for requesting a demonstration. Be happy to walk you through what I just did in more detail, and share with you all the features that we didn't get a chance to get to today. And we'll talk about the opportunity. We'll certainly talk about your business problem and what's the challenges that you're facing. And we'll see if your focus is more on the Word side, on the PDF side, and we'll try to ensure that you have a great working solution.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, Chris, thanks so much for being here. This has been, and thank you to AJ, Fernie, Diego, Ashley. It looks like Robin Bull was here for a while. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. And stay tuned next week, episode 68. And we'll have guests Joe Regalia from Right.Law, and special co-host that night will be Ivy Gray of wordrake.com. So it'll be all legal writing specific. Chris, thanks once again for coming on the show tonight. Look forward to seeing where this goes in the future and getting that huge commission check.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be great. Good job, AJ.
I had a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Don't disappear after we stop recording. See you all later. Have a good night.
Good night.